so let's have a look at GetTOD or Get Tasks on Demand. Right, okay, it's South African, it's 3 years old. As a result, there is far less information about TOD, so we're going to be guessing a little bit more. Right, okay, so TOD is all about, you've got a home emergency and you need to get it fixed right now. So what they're doing is it's on demand. So just like Uber, if you need an electrician, the idea is that you use the app, you select somebody, and they are on the way straight away. I can't download the app. I'm not in South Africa. I can't get onto the app store. So what I've seen is what on the website and reviews. So there are a number of things I think as part of the value proposition. Firstly, another typo. Firstly, they do pre-vetting of the trade people. Have they got a qualification? Who they are? They know who. So basically, you know roughly who somebody is who's going to go to the doorstep. That increases customer safety. They also make sure that they're insured. They claim, and they provide additional insurance up to, I think, 1 million rand. And then the other part of it, the costs are controlled. So again, come back to the problem of lemons. You know what you're getting. You're not going to be surprised. I'll come on to the costing in a minute. Finally, the location tracking. So because it's urgent, it's great if somebody says, yeah, I'm coming, but where the hell are they? What GetTOD does is it's just like Uber. It shows you how close where the tradesperson is on their way to you, just minimizing that anxiety and that fear and that worry. That's the idea. And now for the tradesman, the real value proposition is regular guaranteed business. Now looking at it, so the customer segments, we've got homeowners with emergencies, and I mean, just looking at the GetTOD, I'm not quite sure where they're getting customers from. There's not a great deal of obvious content marketing. There's not an obvious lot of PR, obviously in the app store. But are you going to go to the app store to find an app to find the person to help you out when you've got an emergency? Maybe, because I don't know whether they'd be doing their SEO, because there's nothing obvious on the site that is going to lead me to find them in search results if I'm in Joburg or Cape Town or wherever. So the channels, I'm not 100% clear on where they're working. They've definitely got the app, they've definitely got the web, there's a little bit of writing about them, but they haven't hit the major newspapers to any extent in South Africa. They may be doing pay-per-click, but I can't see that. They're expensive. They should be able to find a better way of doing it. And then customer relationship, basically everything's intermediated by the app. QCI will come back to in a moment. So homeowners with emergencies are the customer segment. Some people seem to be using it for more planned stuff. And I'm not sure the user journey currently works that well, but that's what I've seen on the web. So in the 3 cities they operate in, on average they've got 13 plumbers and 13 electricians and 4 locksmiths and 4 handymen. I'm not sure if there's any duplication there. Let's have a look. I've got it on an Excel sheet. So this is the Excel sheet. This is the number of electricians, and we've got them all down here. I'm not sure if there is any duplication. People look to be relatively specialist. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. So you've got that now. At the moment, from the reviews I've been reading on the Google Play Store and the iOS Store, the way it is meant to work is that you put in your demand, and within a few minutes you see the person on the way to you. What is implied, and I've done most of the sign up process to be a supplier. I can't do the last part because I don't have a South African company. What then happens is somebody should be on the way pretty much immediately, but as far as I can see, they haven't got enough plumbers and electricians to provide convincing 24-hour service, and again with the locksmiths and the handyman. I think for large cities they need a much bigger density to do that, and I certainly saw some stuff where the app said, yeah, the tradesman's on his way, and the tradesman rang up and said, no, I'll come sometime next week. So a lot of the user journey isn't working there. So I think there is a problem with this type of business model. It certainly doesn't feel to be there yet. See it in lots of small things throughout the website. So one of the reasons may be the revenue model. So the revenue, they're claiming low charge out fees of 550 odd, 450 rand per hour. That's charged at 20%. So if we charge, if the standard fee is 500 rand per hour, then the tradesman will be getting 400 rand an hour plus any materials that he uses to solve the project. Now that immediately I'm thinking, okay, I can suck up the 20% loss on the hourly rate. Can I jack up my material rates to make the money back? Maybe possible, may not be possible. I suspect it probably is possible because he doesn't look as if Todd's sophisticated enough to get around that scam. 20% fee. I'm feeling that maybe that's a bit expensive, especially as I think there's a big risk of disintermediation here. So the way it works, the tradesman is booked, he turns up at the place, the credit card is already captured for the customer, so the tradesman completes the job, submits the hours and material costs, and then the customer's card is automatically debited, thus giving GetTOD control over the whole life cycle, stopping any disintermediation on this particular job. And then because it's an emergency situation, and you're unlikely then to be getting the repeat business on a regular basis, hoping that the person will come back to GetTOD next time there is an emergency. So one of the problems here, there isn't a continual use. It's used GetTOD every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. So I'm not sure what that is going to do to the customer lifetime value. So 450 rand, I don't know how much that is, but if that's $20 or $50 twice a year and you're getting 20% of that, the revenue just doesn't seem to be there. So I think they're probably struggling unless they've got funding. I haven't looked at TechCrunch. TechCrunch, Angel List. Let's have a look. Let's see if they've had. Okay, so GetTOD's on Angel List. Sorry, I should have looked at this earlier. Co-founder GetTOD. Have we got anything? Wow. GetTOD, there we go. Can we get any the product manager, not a lot on here. No real idea of financing or funding. So that's where I'm thinking there. So I don't think that they've got a huge amount of traction from our site. I think it works, but I don't think it works terribly well. This I think is stopping them getting enough electricians, which provides them with enough this, and it gets enough customers, which allows them to offer enough guaranteed regular business to the locksmith. So there is something wrong here with the revenue stream. The contractors get paid after the 5 days of the job being completed. And coming back to the customer relationship, if there is a dispute, the customer has got 5 days to raise a dispute, and GetTOD say that they will then send their own inspector out to the house to see if there's a problem and fix it. And so I think what a lot of this is showing is that the South African market is far less mature. They're trying some very different things, for quite clever things, but it's not all coming together, and that I think is partly due to the nature of the market. So the key resources. So they've got a curated pro list. They've got, what is it, a couple of hundred, 110 companies that they've signed up to provide services with. So that's good. There's a lot of time being put into there. There's obviously a go no go decision. There's obviously rating. So that's good. Anything that is sticking out for me as a competitive advantage, the tracking algorithm, so on and so forth, that's now off the shelf software. Previous life I used OnFleet to do that, and that would cost about 50 US cents per person tracked. So I just can't see the key resources here. Struggle them. So the key activities: vetting, and then it's the customer acquisition and the supplier acquisition. And again, there just isn't enough information that I can see to show how they're doing that. I get the feeling it is in somewhat of stable mode. There isn't enough enough funding to go in to grow it, but they're getting enough business, they're making enough money so that it's working well enough, but not so it's plateaued. Maybe I'm totally wrong here. Then the other key partners, the insurance companies, they've got to have somebody who's providing the insurance. How that works, I don't know. I imagine that there is a annual policy that scales based on the total value of the jobs that is being insured. That is something, the way I do it, rather than a fixed price. Who would they go to for that? I don't know, Old Mutual, or maybe somebody a little bit younger and more innovative. But that is a nice standout thing, that there is the insurance and the guaranteeing the work. That's something that we haven't seen in other on-demand things, and the location tracking. And I really did like this no cost surprise, that you know the hourly rate, and if they're there for 3 hours, you know roughly how much it's